Good morning. You're joining us live here on India Today's social media handles. I'm Akshita Nandagopal, getting you all the top stories that we're tracking this morning. Let's begin with the controversy over a documentary and the poster that's been put out. We've been tracking the story very closely here on India Today since yesterday. This is about a documentary in which the poster shows goddess Kaali smoking a cigarette with the LGBTQ colors behind her, the flag behind her. So she's seen holding that as well. This posters triggered a lot of controversy, with many saying that this hurts religious sentiments, must be pulled down because it shows goddess Kaali smoking a cigarette. Obviously, it's triggered massive backlash on social media. You know, there have been a number of hashtags that have been trending saying arrest Leena Manimekalai. Leena Manimekalai is the maker of this documentary. She's a filmmaker. She is not new really to controversy. If you go through her social media timeline itself, you'll see many controversial comments, particularly about Hindu gods, that have been put up along her timeline. Now, essentially the argument is this, that if there's outrage, and rightly so, what Nupur Sharma said on the Prophet, there should be outrage over this as well. That respecting and ensuring that you protect religious sentiments, that's a two-way street. It's not limited to one group, one community, it's for everyone. So that's been the argument to say that Leena Manimekalai should withdraw this particular poster. She's made it very clear, however, that she's not, and that's prompted a lot of activists who've spoken out against her comment to actually go ahead and file complaints against her. In Delhi, there's a case that's been filed. The Delhi police have now registered an FIR also based on the complaint. In Lucknow, also a complaint that's been filed. So multiple complaints filed against this filmmaker. So there is pressure on her to actually withdraw that poster. Right now, she's maintaining that if people and these trolls, as she's referred to them, see her documentary once it's released, they won't hate her anymore. They will thank her for the documentary that she's made. But whatever said and done, it's triggered this huge controversy as well. And there are many who are saying that no matter what, freedom of expression is very much there in the country, but it cannot be at the cost of going ahead and hurting religious sentiments and hurting any sort of community, because it only spreads unrest and hate. So we'll see what kind of a reaction comes in from the filmmaker today. As I said, she's not new to controversy. She's done this before. She's been in the eye of the storm before. And right now, she maintains that nothing's going to change, that her poster will be up on her social media profile, and there's no question of withdrawing or deleting it. But with multiple cases piling up, we'll have to see whether that changes. This is a story that we will, of course, get you the latest updates and reactions on. But let's move on to another story that came in early this morning. We broke earlier today on India Today TV a statement that's come in from the England Cricket Club over allegations that there were racist comments made against Indian spectators during the Edgbaston test. Remember that the 5th test match is underway between India and England, and the information we have is that the official Team India club, which is called the Bharat Army, they faced a lot of racist comments, that some people in the crowd, Britishers, started hurling very racist slurs at them. And they're also saying that many times we approached the authorities there, nothing was done to ensure that these spectators who are resorting to such racist slurs are immediately taken in. Now, according to the Bharat Army, there were in fact many Indian cricket fans who were racially abused. I'm not going to mention what kind of words were used because they're vile, they're completely racist, and an investigation right now is happening to find out exactly who these spectators were who resorted to this. Now, a lot of the social media posts that we've seen about this incident says that they had, in fact, these Indian fans had gone up to the steward, said this is what has happened, but nothing was done to in fact deal with it as well. So that is the allegation that's been made, that it wasn't taken seriously, that despite these cricket fans, these Indian fans showing who exactly hurled these racist comments at them, the stewards present at the club didn't do anything. Now, since then, as I mentioned, an investigation has been kicked off. The England and Wales Cricket Board, which is the ECB cricket, has come out with a statement. I'll just read that out, saying we're very concerned to hear reports of racist abuse at today's test match. We're in contact with colleagues at Edgbaston who will investigate. There's no place for racism in cricket. And they've also gone on after that to attach a spectator code of conduct, saying if you've experienced or witnessed any discrimination, do go ahead and report it to us so we can take action. So it's important to also look at what happens here, because it's unfortunately not the first time that this has happened. In many cases during cricket matches, things get ugly. There's a wild atmosphere, and inevitably it's spectators who resort to these kind of racist comments against Indian fans. And our Indian fans have unfortunately faced this time and again. But let's hope that the England Cricket Club takes action here. They promised that they're looking into it, that they're very concerned, as they've said, and they've launched an investigation. So we are hoping that something comes of it, because something like this is unacceptable. Racism, that too at a sporting venue, is simply not okay. One more story that I'd like to tell you about this morning, which is something that all of us are rejoicing about. The announcement that was made yesterday that if you go out, step out to eat, you're not going to be facing a service charge anymore. So what they've said essentially, and this is a communication that's come in from the CCPA. The CCPA essentially is the Central Consumer Protection Authority. So as the name suggests, it's to benefit customers. What they've said is that the almost 10% service charge that you pay on your restaurant bill is no longer compulsory. It's optional, it's voluntary, and restaurants, hotels, they're accountable. So they will have to ensure that they communicate expressly to the consumer that this is not mandatory. So the next time you go to eat outside, check your bill properly, check if there is that service charge. It's usually about 10% or even more than that in some cases. Check if that's there in your bill. If you're not willing to pay it, simply remove it. This is a much needed step, because there were several consumers and customers who complained, saying they're being exploited, that this should be a choice, not an obligation, or should not be compulsory either. So the CCPA has said no hotels or restaurants shall add a service charge automatically or by default in the bill. We've almost gotten used to paying it now. It's a component of your bill that comes at 10% as service charge, as SGST sometimes will be written there. That no longer is applicable. You can choose to pay it if you'd like, but you can also say that I don't want to pay this, minus it from my bill. So just an important update on that front that I thought you should know about, because the next time you go to an eatery, ensure you check what's in your bill and what's mentioned as far as service charge is concerned. So those are some of the top stories that we're tracking this morning. Thank you very much for tuning in.